And where is? Oh, that's why.
Hmm.
Uh, Kyle's messing shit up today.
You do that every day, dude. Act like it's something
It
new.
is not. Oh, is that the top of your monitor that I'm seeing?
Oh yeah, it is.
Oh, okay. Not a big deal. I was just making sure that my crop hadn't messed up, gotten
Crop hadn't withered
switched.
away.
Uh, man, I'm not gonna lie. While LRM published a whole bunch of information and stories yesterday, I don't necessarily have a lot to talk about, but I do have one thing to definitely talk about. So let's roll the intro. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Daily Cup of Genre here on the Genreverse YouTube channel and Genreverse Podcast Network, available wherever you get your podcast from. I'm Kyle. That guy over there is Manny. And yeah, hit the subscribe button if it's something you haven't done already. If you have, thank you very much. Check out the website, lrmonline.com, for entertainment news, needs, opinions, and of course, more content here on the Genreverse, including Breaking Geek Radio, who is reviewing Transformers Rise of the Beasts this week. Might be out before this, I'm not sure. But it will be up today, Friday, the 9th. Say the 9th, June 9th. Yeah. Anyways, thumbs up, down, all that good stuff. Podcast apps were there too. Genreverse. It's Friday, Manny. Are you seeing Transformers Rise of the Beasts this weekend?
At some point, yeah.
Okay. You were or weren't a Beast Wars guy?
Oh, huge Beast Wars guy. Yeah, I love that.
Just no faith in this movie.
I don't. It's not that I didn't have any faith in this movie. It's just the franchise as a whole hasn't necessarily delivered us, the greatest films. Although, I mean, I enjoyed the first and second one, and Bumblebee wasn't bad. So
Well,
mild expectations. So if it's good, I get to feel better about it, and if it's not, I get to go.
Breaking Geek, relatively, you guys can go watch their review, but for Manny's sake, Jonesy, big Beast Wars guy, like that was his thing. He's got some minor complaints about screen time, too much or lack thereof for certain characters, but they both overwhelmingly said that they enjoyed the movie. Not as good as Bumblebee, they said, but better than the majority of the Bay films. And they said lots of good robot action, like actual, like not just close-ups, but good like wide angles of giant robots fighting and stuff. So like you said, mild, you keep your expectations kind of in neutral, and you might end up really enjoying the film. So
Yeah.
I mean, in an age of disappointment after disappointment from franchises, we have grown to know and love Marvel, Star Wars. Uh, if something can be just good, especially when things in that franchise have been so iffy,
Yeah.
then hey, consider that a net gain. Yeah. Anyways, the one thing that well, two things actually. I thought of a second thing to discuss. One, I know you give no shits about, but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer hit, and I was really excited for that. The next game in the Final Fantasy VII remake saga. I wish they would go back and change remake to something like Midgar. But they're doing remake, rebirth, and then they've already wasted reunion on Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core reunion. Like, oh my god, Square Enix, like you guys. Anyways, the other thing that I wanted to talk about, I know you care a little bit about What We Do in the Shadows Season 5. We got a new poster and a release date for the I need to scroll up, release date for Season 5, coming out on July 13th. I love this series. I did have some issues last season. I thought the idea that they had teased at the end of the season 3 of some of them being in Europe, them kind of being split apart, that there was going to be kind of this road trip or European trip aspect to it. All of that went away, and they immediately got right back to the house. And while the episodes were funny, I felt cheated out of something that could have taken the show on another level. So how'd you feel about last season, and what are you hoping for this year?
It sounds expensive. To try and do different sets. I was excited, man. Nandalf made it all the way to Fresno and then came back. I was like, hey, nothing like showing up to Fresno to figure out, you know what, I should probably go home. It was okay. I wasn't that biggest fan of a baby Colin.
Yeah.
But it did grow on me as he grew, ironically. And I did have a chance to speak in person with the cast. And the thing is, you know, Guillermo is since the beginning has been my favorite part of this whole show. So seeing him continue his story is fun. I just wonder how much more they got left in the tank. I agree. Because like every show, like you just at some point it kind of loses steam, and while I love it and I would love to continue to see more of it, as long as you have a good base for the season, I'm okay. But if you start phoning it in and just kind of phoning it in, you could leave a sour taste in it, and you don't want that. You want to show that you can go back and see all of the seasons and really just enjoy it all over again.
Yeah, like I said, the last season was fun. The genie around, and getting to poke fun at the whole idea of genies that are big sticklers for the wish itself, and will use a lot of leeway if you give it to them. I liked all that, but to your point about the staleness, that's what made the idea of them being separated for a bit, some being in Europe, some still being in the US. That's what made that so enticing, was because it can get a little not I don't want to say repetitive, because it's always little different situations, but they're all the same. It all ends up being the same, and when it's the same set again and again, it kind of, like you said, it can kind of get draining. But they are a great cast, incredibly fun. I appreciate the relatively quick turnaround between seasons this time, and I am excited to see what they do. Now, whether or not I remain excited about it, we'll see. But who knows, man? Sometimes I find in a lot of shows, season 1 is always like a growth period.
Yeah.
Not that they're necessarily bad, but there's going to be, bumps and stuff like that. Season 2s can either be great or really suck. And then season 3 for a lot of shows, they do really, really well on that one. And then if they make it to a season 5 will usually be really good. Not always. Buffy season 5 was not all that hot. I hated the season with Glory. I don't know if you're that big of a Buffy fan to remember the season villains, but yeah. Anyways, we'll see how this one goes.
Looking forward to see what they do in the shadows.
That's it, man. I'm spent. I hope you got something else, because we're only 10 minutes in.
To kind of to your point of the TV shows, did you see the first 5 minutes of Secret Invasion?
No, I saw that it was out, Manny, and you know what I said to myself? I can wait.
We have time to fill. These are things you need to have watched.
But that's the thing, though, Manny, is they literally I didn't have to go anywhere.
Yeah.
I could have been completely unable to go to a theater and taken the 5 minutes to watch it, and I didn't, and I didn't I didn't even think about it as a thing to talk about. But why don't you tell me what you thought about it? Because I know that you have been very similar to me in your care about the MCU going forward. So what'd you think of these five minutes, Manny?
I like the scene. It's very dramatic, and it's very conspiracy theory, where one guy is the agent that we saw in Black Panther comes up to someone else, and he's telling him about the scrolls and how they've infiltrated, and he's like, nah, they're on our side, don't even worry about it. Shows him something, and changes his mind. He's like, I gotta take this to Fury. When he attacks him, the other guy, and that's kind of where it ends. So it's 5 minutes of that. It felt very grounded.
Where did they put it up? Because I don't even see it on their YouTube channel.
Well, it wasn't on their YouTube channel. You had to. You had. I got it through Twitter, and it had a password that you had to insert.
Oh
in,
yeah.
Cool.
I remember. I remember now. I think that is specifically why I didn't do it, because it took
you're
effort.
Lazy. Yeah. It's like, honestly, when the Batman did that for the release of that
the secret
Joker scene.
Yeah.
I thought that was so cool, because you had to work for it.
Yeah.
And it felt like, you were part of that. Going into,
it was brilliant.
It was good.
And I cared much more about that than I did this.
So it looks really grounded. My only fear is that it's so grounded that you don't necessarily get too much of the scrolls, and they're just people, and it turns into something as bad as, and this is extreme, like the worst case scenario. It turns something
extreme pessimism.
It turns something into like what they tried to do with the other characters. God, what's their name? It was that terrible show on ABC,
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was okay compared to that. I was
gonna say,
one.
watch yourself. People love
no,
that
no,
one.
no,
You'll get us death threats.
I like Agents.
Which other
one?
one?
Not the Inhumans. Thank you.
There it is. Inhumans. Yeah, we don't talk about the we don't talk about the Inhumans.
You remember in the beginning, like,
man, they tried so hard.
You don't remember at the beginning of that episode, they cut Medusa's hair, B sent Lockjaw away, 3 killed one of them, and I was just like, oh, so basically we don't need any CGI anymore, because anything.
Yeah, I was gonna say this show is really expensive. We need to make some changes. So. And you remember they even released the first like 3 episodes, or they released a chunk in IMAX theaters and stuff. Like, oh my god.
Yeah, it was really bad though. It was terrible. Sometimes I wonder who makes these decisions and things like, you know what, this should actually do good. I know, man, that this was never gonna do good.
And that is something that I have brought up time and time again, and I know that Feige likes to pawn it off on that was Marvel TV. I didn't have as much control as I do now. Not that he's ever said that, but that's kind of like the feeling I get from those days of Marvel. We do complain about Phase 4 and 5 right now, of course, but we've always admitted that they had their missteps, and a lot of those were on TV, including some missteps on the beloved Netflix series. But they also messed up some movies. Everyone rags on Thor: The Dark World. Iron Man 3 is not all that great.
It's really not. No.
I think The Incredible Hulk, while it's both a Marvel Studios and not a Marvel Studios, I actually think that is somewhat underrated, but it also has a lot of baggage with it. But the point being is they've never been perfect, but it's been that Phase 4 watering it down, and so much of it being mediocre or bad that you just and then having to cover it, and that's what really did it. So I blame Nick having to cover it, because I was like, dude, I need you to find someone else, man, like someone that likes this stuff more than I do, because it's making me angry. And I don't, as much as I get angry on this, that, or the other, on like shows like this, it's usually just one segment and then it's gone, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, I do get passionate off camera. But yes, of course, I'm adding a little extra on camera because it's on camera. But at a certain point, like I said, I can't remember if it was Miss Marvel or She-Hulk. Both of them really just. Anyways, I started realizing like I'm just angry at even the thought of having to watch it for the show, and that's no way to be. And so yeah, I've relatively enjoyed my break from Marvel, where I'm not trying to keep up with it, and yeah. It is what it is.
Guardians was good. At least there's that.
I will see it when it hits streaming. Unfortunately,
you're one of those people.
Well, no. Like I said, I wanted to go see it. That's the one that I wanted to see the most out of all of them. But I was injured or dealing with health issues, couldn't go for the first 2 weeks, and after that, it's just like it's now leaving the big formats, and yeah, I didn't care. It was like, yeah. Now here's the thing: if it's good, if it's as good as Minnie said it was, I'll buy it on Blu-ray. I will go out and support it with that. I haven't bought a MCU Blu-ray since No Way Home. I didn't buy Black Widow. I didn't buy Eternals either. And I haven't watched No Way Home, but I bought it. I cannot bring myself to watch it.
Anyways, yeah. Well,
Secret Invasion. I'll check out the first episode when it hits next month, right? July.
No, July I think it's at the end of this month.
Yeah. At the end of this month. Sorry, because Ahsoka comes out in August, so of course they want some space there.
Yeah.
I'll check it out. I don't know if we will be reviewing it. Nick is taking a break from podcasting, but we'll see, man. The worst part about it is there is nothing coming out anytime soon that I actually do care about. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't
in general,
care about for Marvel.
For Marvel, okay.
Because Secret Invasion, whatever. Loki season 2, yeah, sure, I'm interested, but how much of season 2 is gonna matter going forward? But then you think about the Marvels, you think of Echo, you think of Agatha and things that we know are coming up next, and we know the writer's strike is going to lead to a whole bunch of writers and screen Actors Guild strikes are going to push things off anyways. Man, I think about it this way. We're definitely not getting no Secret Wars in 26, 27, maybe 28. Think about that. 2028, man. I will be 43 years old by the time Secret Wars actually gets to hit. Holy shit.
Well, I mean, that's just you being old. Yeah. The whole writer strike's gonna, and the possible actor strike is already kind of raising an eyebrow to studios as they're in a wait and see position for things like Comic-Con.
Yep.
And it's interesting. It's interesting because a friend of mine yesterday was telling me how some retailers or publishers are being offered massive discounts now, allegedly, to be on the show floor. And according to, I don't remember what the outlet was. I'll have to look it up in a minute. But HBO won't be at Comic-Con this year, and they were.
Okay. Well, HBO. That's not necessarily Warner Brothers DC. Got it. Tracking. Okay.
Yeah. No, but because of the fact that I guess it kind of makes sense this year because you don't have a show coming out anytime soon. What do you? Yeah. I mean, you don't have anything really for Game of Thrones, and Last of Us is done really for a while. So I mean, I can see not having, but still, that was a huge blueprint on with the activations. It was the House of Dragon.
Yeah.
One, which was really cool. there's a walkthrough on LRM Online if you want to take a look at that I shot. So currently, very concerned about the show floor blueprint. I just bring it up because I thought of it because you mentioned the strike. But come July 1st, if they don't have an agreement and those actors aren't around, and neither are the writers, we'll have a very, very interesting Comic-Con.
Yeah.
To the point where I may have to consider how long I stay out there, things like that. Because what would be the point?
I don't first. Here's the thing about San Diego. Still has a relatively healthy artist alley.
Yeah.
Has usually a very healthy we'll call them third party, meaning non-studio, non-industry exhibitors. So you think of all the people bringing the toys, collectibles, personal independent publishers and things like that, which I know is industry, but I meant like not the big industry. So independent stuff is still really big on the floor, and there's always been a talk and a thirst for a return to the more traditional Comic-Cons that were more, well, one, comic driven, but also still very big on independent artists, like more individuals, less studio. And that's been around since the first time I got to actually go in person in 2008. People were starting to rumble, oh yeah, it's cool, sci-fi's here, but look how much space the site, that's how long 2008 was, because sci-fi's taking up. Look how big this booth is versus that booth. And then again in 9, and Brian went again in 10 and said similar things, and we might see that it might scale down to where it's only in the convention center and not the convention center plus 2 hotels and 3 bars. You know what I'm saying? I don't know, but at the same time, you have Sideshow Collectibles pulling out a while ago, and you're like, that's one of those that you would have never thought would have pulled out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because that's part of conventions, is being able to look with your own eyes and occasionally put hands-on stuff, and Sideshow Collectibles is one of those. You don't need a writer or director. You don't need talent to show off Sideshow. I am concerned. I don't think it's going to be in threat of being canceled this year, but it's going to be interesting to see what does Comic-Con look like in the future.
What does it look like this year? Because studios are also trying to still save money.
Yeah.
And so how much are you really looking to invest? The problem is, if you're going to scale down, you're scaling down an event that has, last year, 167,000 estimated people showing up. Got to give them something to do. And
absolutely. And that could be a good opportunity for Comic-Con International, the parent group or company or whatever you want to word it, to look at social media content creators to help fill in some of the gaps, increasing panels. Well, no, like increasing panel, like instead of having to have X amount of prestige to get a panel, opening panels up to, a little bit more smaller creators, smaller, like even under independent, if you will, if that's making like hierarchical sense. But again, it'll also all depend on who's still willing to go. And like I said, you can scale it back down to those like 2008 numbers of like 120, 130,000 people, especially if all of the events are pretty much in the convention center and you're not having to worry about the space in hotels and adjacent there in the Gaslight District and whatnot. It's potentially could be a good thing if the audience can support that scaled down version. But if people aren't into that scaled down version, then you might see it even leave the convention center and go to something smaller.
I don't see it getting that small, but I think that for at least 3 years, it can survive on name alone. And that's kind of annoying.
Yes.
You know, like you
Yes.
could just on the fact that you're saying I'm going to Comic-Con
Mm-hmm.
is enough to, and then like I get it. You have different kinds of people going for different experiences. I of course go, you know, because I have a job to do,
Yeah.
and so if the content's not there, and it's kind of ruins the experience. Like I go to enough shows where, I see the artist alleys. I know them personally. It's the same retailers usually, especially on the West Coast, that are very similar.
You start walking down the alley, and it's like cheers, many like that.
Actually, yeah, in some spots, yeah. You do what we do, Jason and I. What we always do is we when we arrive, the first thing we do is do rounds to say hello to everyone.
Yeah,
and then just to see what everyone's plans are and how everyone's feeling. Mid show, we'll check in and see. You know, obviously we made plans with a bunch of folks to grab drinks and things. But yeah, if anything. Like for example, LA Comic Con was horrible in December, but what was great about it was being able to see all your friends that you really only see at conventions, because everyone has really busy lives traveling and doing what they do. So you know, there'll always be that, and that's always great because people fly in from everywhere, especially for the big show. But you know, it's never gonna be what I don't think it'll ever be now what it used to be. I think that era of, you know, sensational trailers and reveals, I think it's over.
Yeah, it's starting to fade, which, you know,
that's
what some people wanted, but
it's just part of the times.
Yeah, and we thought, like I said, there have been people asking for a return to form for a long time, and I think we're going to see kind of a hybrid. You're still going to see some big reveals. You're still going to get some hype stuff, but you're also going to see scaling back, scaling down. So, but we got to end it there. I got to take my dog to the vet. Speaking of conventions, the Genreverse's own Anime Versal Reviews is hosting a panel. It'll be moderated by Manny Gomez at Anime Expo this year, July 3rd. There at the LA Convention Center, room 402 for right now. Raising kids in anime, how to parent or guardian like an OPMC. If you're gonna be at Anime Expo, please do track us down, find us, and the best way to do that, of course, is follow us on social media at the Genreverse on Twitter. Check out the Discord server in the link in the description box down below. Lots of other great content on the channel that I don't have ready to show you guys. So yeah, hit the subscribe button, give us a thumbs up or down, leave a comment, and enjoy all the other content. Check out Breaking Geek Radio's Transformers Rise of the Beast review. Manny, anything else for the people out there for the weekend?
Yeah, I did quite a few good interviews. One from Fubar, which is the Arnold show. I did another one with Tim Story, the director of The Blackening, who, if you do not remember, he also directed the first two Fantastic Four films, Barbershop, Taxi 2, Think Like a Man franchise. He's done quite a few things, and now he's venturing into the world of horror comedy. He was a great talk. And then also I started my series of interviews with the cast of Mayans MC, which is saying his farewell. Frankie Loyal was on this week, so check those out. Those are on the site already.
All right, guys, have a good one, and we will hopefully see you on Monday. Bye.